Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to TrepTalks. This is the show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business stories, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Arpit Aryan Gupta to the show. Arpit is the partner and new business development head of NG Apparels. NG Apparels is an India-based, custom-made and sustainable clothing manufacturer utilizing ethical and fair trade practices. And today I'm going to ask Arpit a few questions about his business journey and some of the strategies and tactics that he has used to start and grow his business. Now, before we dive into this interview, if you enjoy this content, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And for more interviews like this, please visit treptalks.com. And with that, Arpit, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today at Trep Talks. Really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for inviting Sushant. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, let's get started with your business. I know that your business has been around for a while. I believe 80 plus years, and that's probably around, the end of the British Empire in India. So
Yeah.
maybe we can start, how this business came about, what were, where did I'm assuming your father or grandfather started it, what was the vision and where is it now?
So basically, quite an interesting background that I have. I basically am fourth generation entrepreneur. My great grandfather basically was a clerical. He was in a clerical job in the British era, and from certain point he started his own business and he got into yarns and everything. Fast forward, we were one of the biggest suppliers and manufacturers of yarn in India for quite a while. And that was a couple of decades ago. And then my father took over and he started into, textiles and knitted fabrics. And due to some losses because of the recession in the US, 2008, 2007 crisis, something like that. I guess we incurred a huge loss. And at that point of time, we got a huge dip. We diversified into multiple businesses, but we had to, burn our hands and pockets. Um, but then fast forward again, 2012, 11, I came back from my graduate studies in Australia and UK. And that's when I started the garment division in NG Apparels. And today, I'm quite happy that we are supplying to majority of the countries in terms of direct brand dealings. So yeah, that's the journey in kind of brief.
And your education was MBA? Like, did you study business
No,
or?
I actually left India when I just came out of school, high school. I went to Australia for my graduation. And from there, I got a chance to go on an international exchange program to UK and then came back to Sydney, finished my graduation, and then I started my own business. Yeah.
Awesome. And so when you started it, I'm assuming you did some market research, try to figure out, what the opportunity is in the apparel.
Hmm.
Now, of course, in the age of e-commerce, there's, quick fashion, what is it called? Fast fashion, where
Fast
you
fashion. Yeah.
have, new designs, new varieties coming
Every
into the
hour.
market
Yeah.
rather quickly. So is
Hmm.
that like what was that kind of part of the reason for starting an apparel business? What was your
Hmm.
motivation for starting this apparel?
To be
What was the
honest,
opportunity?
yeah, to be honest, I guess it was the ecosystem in the city that I belong to, Ludhiana, which supplies to, the entire world. That was the motivation that the ecosystem is there and I can actually, use that ecosystem and build upon it. So even though I come from an IT background, programming background, and marketing background, of course, that did help me leverage my skills into building NG Apparels and understanding, having a good network of suppliers and everything kind of helped as well. So building, I guess NG Apparels was based on the ecosystem that I already had in the city, Ludhiana. So that kind of helped. And plus, through some contacts and everything, I started getting orders. And once those orders started giving, your good amount of revenue and everything, that becomes a motivation to kind of move forward, in that direction. So I guess right now the era where we're living in terms of India, industrialization, the manufacturing hub that it's trying to build itself, it's going to go like really, really on a bigger scale. So I guess we are just small part of that, and just trying to leverage what opportunities world is giving to India right now.
Can you talk a little bit about your products? What are you focusing on? What are, your customers asking of you in terms of product selection?
Hmm. So in terms of products, we are doing all kinds of products when it comes to clothing. Anyone who needs anything made out of textiles or knitted fabrics, we can manufacture it. Um, However, of course, there are a lot of companies that are actually doing regular products like t-shirts, shirts, hoodies, all of these things. I mean, those are exciting products, but those are not the game changers for us. The game changers are the products that we do that are patented. The patented products that we are manufacturing for even brands that are coming out of Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. And those are products that we manufacture alone in the world for them, for the buyers, the brands, and that kind of help us to even put out the word that yes, NG Apparels is the one that can actually do a product that a lot of people would say no to. So that differentiates us to a certain extent. However, of course, we are doing all those products like kids wear, women's wear, sports clothing, even hair accessories, sports accessories. So we're doing all of that. But plus, we are doing a lot of patented products.
And when you say patented, does that mean these are newer fabrics, these are newer designs? What's different about them?
Mainly, it's the fabric composition that is different, that is not available in the market usually. And the second most important thing is the design. So majority of the people that are actually having the patent is for the design patent and plus the kind of like the benefit that it gives. So that's where I guess we kind of differentiate from the other manufacturers.
And in terms of benefits to your customers or value proposition, and this could be your company specific or like just country specific, India as a whole. Do buyers come to India or your company because is it cheaper to manufacture there? I mean, you said that you're more flexible in terms of working with new materials and things like this. Um, and comparing it to like other markets like China or Vietnam and other Southeast Asian countries that do garments, what is different about India that attracts people to or brands to come and get their clothing manufactured there?
I guess it's a mix of a lot of things. The first thing is, um, I guess the most important thing is the flexibility that we offer. You know, we are very flexible people. We are flexible in understanding the requirements of the customer and accordingly making the processes and the product that actually completely satisfies them. That's first. Second thing is communication. We are pretty good in communication when it comes to, just trying to understand what exactly the customer wants and making them understand as well what is possible and what is not. The third thing I believe is we do not say no. Like if there's any problem that needs to be solved, we say yes. And of course, it might take a little while, but definitely I've seen that there's 100% probability that we'll do it. And that's probably the attitude Indians have. I guess that's the reason why uh, majority of the Indians make it in life, So I guess that's the attitude that we portray to the world. Communication. And third thing is to be flexible in terms of, satisfying the customer in terms of their needs, not trying to just being really strict about this is what we are doing and this is what you have to accept or not. That's what we don't do. So I guess this is what kind of attracts a lot of people towards us.
Now, you also did mention that India is moving towards more of a manufacturing economy, and um, do you see a push from the government or like incentives, things like this, which is helping companies in India to become or to make it easy for manufacturers to build their business and attract customers in India?
So I guess the kind of incentives that the government is giving are have gone down uh, from the previous, let's say, couple of decades. As it used to be amazing. That's what I've heard from my father. But I completely understand why probably the shift has been there. I'm sure government has its own reasons. However, still there is good amount of support in terms of pushing the product, the Indian product to the market, making the Indian manufacturing, um, let's say Indian manufactured products available to the world. So at the same time, I believe what happens is that when it comes to providing a product and the government kind of supporting it, it is happening for a reason why a lot of countries around the world are losing or want to lose their dependency only on China. And that's definitely a good point to start with for India, because India is kind of growing at the same time on two levels, service level as well as manufacturing. So it's growing at both sides, and that's why we are one of the fastest economies in the world. Um, However, of course, we do have a lot of difference in terms of Chinese acceleration in terms of growth and us. And I guess we are trying to catch up, and we'll catch up quite fast.
Okay. Now, when you started out, in terms of setting up this new business, did you kind of, because your grandfather already had the business, like what kind of investment went into this? Like, did you have to start create a factory? Did you have to buy equipment? What was kind of the starting point for you, where for you to be able to start a manufacturing business?
See, definitely, I guess when it comes to coming from a business background, it is kind of ingrained in your mind from, when you're a child, that you're from a business family and this business, people working for you and all of those things. That kind of gets ingrained inside you and you want to do even better and bigger than that, what your ancestors or your father has been, they've been doing. So that kind of definitely helps in. The second most important thing is, I guess it's about your own attitude. I personally feel I'm a person who's probably quite in a I do love to lead people into a direction. So I probably find it really, really difficult to kind of follow a pattern, rather than I believe in building one and taking everyone together and moving forward by hearing everyone's point of view, but then taking and deciding what is best, for the company as a whole. So I definitely had that attitude. And third most important thing is, I guess, when you come from a business family, you definitely want to kind of prove it to everyone and to yourself. Majorly, you want to prove it to everyone, to your, majorly that um, you can do it, without any help.
Hmm.
However, of course, I would not deny this fact that having the land access kind of gives you a little, very good motivation to kind of do something in life. So I
Hmm.
definitely had the space.
Hmm.
But other than that, I did invest the money that I had saved while working as a student and while I was studying in Sydney. So I did save up, a couple of thousands of dollars. And those thousands of dollars I invested in buying the machinery, and from there I started everything. So apart from the land, definitely I kind of did it everything.
Really? Okay, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Um, can you share like what kind of machinery like goes into creating? So you're creating are you buying fabrics and then create like just building the clothing out of those fabrics? Like what is the output that you're creating?
So right now what we're doing is we procure the yarn. Once we procure the yarn, because yarn mill itself is a huge project in itself. So we procure the yarn, and then we uh, either have the machine ourselves to kind of knit the fabric. However, every knitting structure, every fabric can have its own knit structure, width requirement and everything. So that becomes really difficult to maintain all of that in one place. So we do have a network of, job workers who kind of knit the fabric for us depending on our composition and width and everything, all the parameters that we want. And based on that, of course, then we send that fabric out to a dyeing factory, which actually dyes the fabric as per the color and the Pantone shade that we require. And once that is done, we then get the fabric. We do in-house checking. We follow the protocol of checking the entire fabric, and then cutting, tailoring, stitching. All of this happens in-house. So mainly I would say garment CMT process, which is cutting, making, and tailoring, is done in-house. Everything else is kind of outsourced for specific factories to provide us the specific parameters that we want.
Oh, very, very interesting. Um, what part of your business, because these days now you hear more and more around automation and robotics and all these,
Mhm.
things taking over. What part of your business is like people doing the work, like
Mm.
hand utilizing their hands versus like machines creating the clothing?
So interestingly, we've reached, kind of Mars. But in this industry, the automation is hasn't been that much. I don't know, is it because of the the special characteristic of the fabric itself, like how much tension is there in the fabric, and what sort of a skill that you need to make a specific garment or do that specific stitch.
Hmm.
So this, I would like think that it would require so much of AI training, like years and years of AI training, and a lot of data to kind of understand and make a machine understand like this is what exactly is required. So it's a mix of like highly skilled people with help of a machine. Definitely there has been some advancement in terms of, stitching quality, stitching machines and everything, speed, all of that. But other than that, the skill has to be, that the skill comes from the labor.
Hmm.
So highly skilled people are required to make garments. So not too much of innovation has happened here. Definitely there is some innovation that has happened in terms of fabric making, all of that, but garmenting, no, not yet.
Awesome. Now, your role is more of a business development. Can you talk a little bit about, since you started, what has been the process of going out and getting the customers?
Wow. So, when you start a business, you're so kind of, um, you're finding ways to find a customer, right? And I guess the first five customers are the most difficult ones because that's where you have to prove yourself without any background. So I guess those were the most difficult ones that I had to find out. However, I guess it all depends upon the attitude you portray to the customer, and can do attitude that yes, it will be done, or else definitely you don't have to give anything initially in advance, and we are ready to do whatever that you feel like. And if you're satisfied, of course we can do the transaction. If you're not, I'm happy to bear all the risk. So I guess that's sort of an attitude when you portray to the people, they definitely would want to give you a try. And that happened because of some word of mouth, contacts plus exhibitions, and some people definitely came in by cold calling, So all these ways were kind of used for me to get some customers. But I guess the first 5, 10 customers that I got, then I never had to look back. People were just coming in almost, every now and then. So it was kind of comfortable, yes.
So now it's almost like people know that you create these kind of apparel and you manufacture,
Yes.
and they're basically contacting you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that I mean
So
that's very interesting. Yeah.
it's word of mouth now. Like a lot of people actually find out customers who are making amazing quality, then they end up talking to the owners of the product. From whom did you get it manufactured? Some people are definitely keeping us, our name undisclosed, which makes sense to them as well. Um, to us as well. However, some people are definitely absolutely comfortable in disclosing our name. Some people have taken our factory photos and all of those things, kind of shown all the processes to portray like this is how the product is being manufactured. So definitely everyone finds out that it's us who are manufacturing for them. So this kind of helps us to build our, brand as a manufacturer for a lot of customers, and it helps to get in more customers as well for us.
Now you did mention that you are now selling in a lot of different other countries. What is your
Mhm.
biggest market? Like, is India your market? Like, are people buying your products in India, or is it mostly like Europe or US and other countries?
It's a mix. We have a lot of Indian customers, definitely, and a lot of European customers, American customers, Australia, for the Indian market as well.
Okay. I think I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, no worries. So
Um,
I'll probably repeat what I said. So I'm saying like we do have customers from around the world. India definitely is one of the biggest market as well for us, but US, Europe, Australia, UAE, all these countries we're definitely supplying and in good amount.
okay. Um, do you have a sales team, or is it mostly you that are dealing directly with the customers?
I guess the initial point of contact is me, or my younger brother, Samir. Um, and there's one more person as well that we kind of trust to who can actually portray our company in the right, way. But definitely after when we've built the first bridge of contact, then we do have like people from our factory, merchandisers mainly. We create a group according, like, as per the customer with them, everyone's in there. So that's where the conversations happen. And then usually I take a step back and the first, the primary team kind of takes a step back. And then the merchandising team kind of takes in where they provide what the customer needs in terms of sampling and then the production, and they keep them apprised of what's exactly happening. So initial point of contact, definitely it is some, like, majority of the time it's me or like two other people.
Okay. Um, do you have any marketing department? I mean, you said that most of your customers are coming through referrals or word of mouth. Are you doing any kind of marketing, or right now you're enough capacity that you don't
We
really need to?
have I mean, with God's grace, we marketing is something that we don't spend money at all on, because a lot of customers, to be honest, we have to say no as well.
Hmm.
And I mean, if you check sometimes my Instagram or my WhatsApp message, a lot of people are complaining that it's hard to get in touch with me,
Hmm.
and they're following me a couple of times initially just to make a contact, so that some people just want to work with us, and I am really glad that they do have this feeling. And I try my level best to kind of reach out to everyone, but sometimes it's so difficult because the moment you get up in the morning, you have like so many unread messages, and by the time you are done with some of them, you have to do the next job.
Hmm.
So I do get delayed in getting back to everyone. But I guess I enjoy the fact that we are not trying to cater everyone,
Hmm.
and not trying to be greedy in terms of getting every customer in our pocket. We are trying to do quality work, and with selected few, and they themselves are like kind of like more than enough. So that kind of helps us. And yeah, definitely for that reason, we don't have a marketing department as such.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Like you're creating a niche for your business, right?
Yeah.
You're working with a specific kind of a customer.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of getting your the manufactured clothing to the customers, can you talk a little bit about your logistics and supply chain shipping kind of strategies? How long does it take? What is the kind of um, upfront time that is required for like somebody wants to have a batch of manufactured items created? How much upfront notice you need?
So usually what I recommend is, I mean, this is a big issue that we face, especially with, the first timers. I mean, in that category as well, we do have a lot of inquiries, almost every day. So what I have to make people understand is, first of all, you have to plan for a season ahead of you. You can't be in the season, the same season, because first you don't know exactly the technical aspects, so it'll take you time for us to understand what exactly you need and for you to kind of explain us as well what you need. And third thing is that majority of the people are not aware of tech packs, which are technical documentation of the whole garment that
Hmm.
we definitely need for us to make an exact perfect garment in the first round of prototype sampling. So a lot of people, find it difficult initially to kind of understand that as well. And that's why we have on our website and an example of, a sample tech pack, which kind of really helps them to start the process.
Hmm.
Um, so I would say, let's say a sampling process would take somewhere about, somewhere between 2 weeks to about 4 weeks, depending on what sort of an information they're giving to us. If we have to go back and forth in terms of, getting all the information, small calculations that are wrong, then definitely it takes more time. Um, and let's say if it's everything is provided, in the first place itself, and it's a simple garment or it's a complicated one, and everything is fine, and a pipe sampling pipeline is kind of free, which usually is never the case. I mean, we're 100% occupied in terms of sampling pipeline 365 days.
Hmm.
So that's why we take about 2 weeks to 4 weeks for the sampling process. Once that is done, once everything is finalized, we kind of take about 45 to 60 days to manufacture a bulk shipment. And a bulk shipment could cost, could be somewhere between 500 pieces per color per design. And it can be less, can be more as well, depending on what sort of a target price they're giving us. So yeah, you can take the process to be somewhere between 45 days, so it's about 60 days to about, 90 days. So that's usually the time frame that I'm talking about.
So the impression that I'm getting is that Ludhiana is kind of like this hub for garment manufacturing. Do you recommend that anybody who's trying to create a business around clothing that they should, you know, check out, like they should come to Ludhiana and talk to
100%. I mean, Ludhiana, like the history of India, right? In terms of, colonialization and everything. I guess a lot of biggest economies and cultures around the world have tried to come to India for a reason, and we've been ruled by so many, different nationalities. So in the last nationality, the recent one, of course, the British, they kind of used to call, they gave the name, or the industrialization gave the name itself to Ludhiana, the Manchester of India, which is why, um, because we were kind of the biggest textile manufacturers, in the country, probably in Asia, and probably a huge amount of GDP used to be from Ludhiana itself.
Hmm.
So in terms of textiles, um, definitely because of some reason, political instability, whatever it is, Ludhiana is losing its spot because new other cities are coming up. But still, the experience, the number of years, in terms of, industry, the generations that have been in this business is in Ludhiana. It's huge. Like just by looking at the product and feeling the product, majority of the people can tell what's a GSM, what's the fabric quality, all of that. in terms of knit structure, quality, fabric composition, everything. So this experience comes here. And still, if you create 5 cities like Ludhiana, it is still less for India itself to kind of cater to. So
Hmm.
that's the amount of, I guess, demand Ludhiana has. So if you have the good manufacturer, if you're looking for a good manufacturer, quality product, all of that, definitely Ludhiana is a number one spot, for coming in and getting your products manufactured.
Can you talk a little bit about your team? How big is your team, and I guess the key members and so forth?
So we do have, let's say on the front end, we have, let's say me and my 2 other team members, for example, who kind of take care of the customers initially. Um, and then we have a team of merchandisers who kind of take care of the entire product, prototype sampling, and then the bulk manufacturing of the product. And then we've got in that whole process, we do have sub teams like in terms of printing, cutting, tailoring, and then finishing and packing, all of that. And finally, once the products and everything are, finalized, the entire production is ready, then we do have a logistics team who takes care of the entire, you know, um, getting the products from point A to point B, from our door to the next door. So we do have contracts with logistic companies around the world, mainly DHL, FedEx, Aramex. Depending on the region we have to cater to, we deliver. Majority of the customers actually expect us to give the product, door delivered to them,
Hmm.
and we provide that facility as well. Depending on what time frame they want, we either, recommend by air or by sea.
Hmm.
So that all as well, is kind of taken care by us. So what we say is that you just give us your design idea in terms of tech pack, and
Hmm.
rest everything else will be taken care by us
Hmm.
in terms of, sourcing anything that you need, and sourcing of all kinds of accessories, packaging, whatever that you want. Your entire final product will be delivered to you on your doorstep.
No, I think that's really good. Do they do you do any kind of quality assurance process, like, or does the customer demand any sort of QA process before the product
Hmm.
is shipped out?
Interestingly, everyone who's coming to any manufacturer is looking for 2, 3 things. The first one is, can I get something that I'm looking for? B is, can I get at a price that I'm expecting it to be at? The third thing is, whatever that I get, would it be of quality? So
Hmm.
quality is the biggest, I guess, you know, requirement in terms of everything, getting a product. So definitely customers do expect us to provide them a very good quality. However, we do not have to face an issue in terms of people asking us about quality, because I believe they're coming us to for a reason. They know the quality that we deliver. And that's the reason why I usually do not face any questions regarding quality. All I probably have to face is how much time, what is the price? That's
Hmm.
it. Because they're expecting the quality will be really nice. And the point is, I would say you cannot keep everyone happy. Nobody can keep everyone happy. Out of 100%, my experience says at least I've been able to keep about 97, 98% people happy, and 1, 2 people are just too difficult to please.
Hmm.
Even though the product, if the other person actually sees, will say like, it's absolutely perfect. But,
Hmm.
some people do have that, issue in terms of in the end. But I believe that's a very good number for a company to have if majority of the clients are like all really happy with the product that you're supplying. Um, we do put out, just for review, we do put out the names of the customers that we are manufacturing, who are absolutely fine in disclosing their names, and we
Hmm.
put it out on our Instagram channel, where you can actually go on their page and see how people are talking about our quality, random
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
So I guess that gives a good, boost to our confidence in terms of product that we supply to the world.
Awesome. Do you have any preference of like working with like a large brand which has, large retail presence versus, I mean, these days also there's a lot of new e-commerce, customers are creating their own brands, like a smaller brand. Do you have any preference that you work with? Like, do you have any criteria, like a minimum order quantity or something that is a requirement for anybody to work with you?
See, there's only one requirement. I mean, we do not say that we only want to work with large brands. We are absolutely working, we are more than happy to kind of work with small brands as well. The only thing is, the only challenge I guess small brands face is the quantity. So
Hmm.
it's like a catch 22 thing. Like, is the order coming first, or should I get the product manufactured lying in my inventory for a while? So what should I do? So my recommendation is, of course, you want to go for a small quantity. We can definitely manufacture and kind of support you in that, because I believe I personally am an entrepreneur, so I kind of I feel happy in terms of helping other entrepreneurs. So I do not definitely do not say no to them. But there's a catch, because if I manufacture a very low quantity, depending on their requirement, then my feasibility will not be there,
Hmm.
which means I'll have to charge them higher. If I charge them higher, they would not be able to sell. So that's the reason why we do have an MOQ. I usually recommend about minimum 300 pieces per kilo per design, in which you can have multiple sizes. However, we are more than happy to do 100 pieces as well. But what happens is 300 pieces will have a better price, 100 pieces will have a little less cost effective, let's say pricing. So my recommendation is always, to go for at least 300 pieces per kilo per design for a good price.
Awesome. Um, in terms of your future vision for your business, I mean, it seems like you've just started. Like, where do you see your business going in the next 5, 10 years? Are you looking to get into new markets, get different kind of customers, work with different kind of fabrics, or really just, where you are, you just want to continue building organically?
See, it's been almost what, 13 odd years, 13 to 14 odd years, with this garment division itself. With this garment division itself, we've almost supplied to maybe 50 plus countries or 60 plus countries. Um, and we've done products that are extremely complicated, to even small products that are less complicated. I guess the most expensive product we've done it was costed the customer about 100, like, sorry, £1,000, approximately. So in today's value, like 1 lakh rupees, for example. So that's the kind of, product that we've built. I guess what we are doing right now is a mix of, both quantum and quality. So we do have large customers where we're supplying quantum products every month, where the quality is based on a very specific parameter. And the main factor is pricing. We are able to match that pricing and maintain that quality and consistency. We are getting those orders on a regular basis. However, for me personally, I love doing something that is challenging as well. So we are doing different kind of products that are probably higher in value, but the numbers are not really high, in terms of value is high. But the amount of percentage, let's say, that in terms of revenue that you generate based on that is kind of similar. So
Hmm.
in terms of growing in that space, I guess we are diversifying in both directions organically. And I guess that's what we want to keep on continuing, in the next couple of years as well, trying to improve our machinery, trying to improve our processes, going towards more leaner manufacturing, space, and that's how we improve our efficiency and reduce our cost and improve our, revenue, and profits. So I guess that's what we are focusing for the next couple of years.
Awesome. In every entrepreneur's journey, there's always mistakes made, lessons learned, failures. The For the 10 plus years that you've been running your business, what has been kind of a big mistake or failure that you encountered? What was the lesson for you, and what can other entrepreneurs learn from your mistakes?
Um, Definitely, I guess the big one would be, it is sometimes kind of important to say no as well, you know, to certain things in life. Um, I guess yes, this yes attitude of doing everything that is even not, you don't know what to do and how to do it, but you still say yes.
Hmm.
But in the end, maybe it takes too much of your time and energy, and you could have actually used that time and energy on something else, which would have generated in a lesser time more revenue. So I guess definitely making that choice is important, but I guess that comes with more experience and clarity in life, which definitely I guess I do have right now, which probably I didn't have 14 years, back then. The second thing is trying to diversify too much as well, kind of makes it difficult for you to sustain for a longer period of time. So you do have to have an engine that keeps on pulling you in the right direction, even if it's slow, but it keeps to, it needs to, like, just keep pulling you up. So definitely to have that direction clear as well, like this is where I want to be and this is where I want to go. I guess that's also the most important thing. And I believe the third most important thing is have the right people with you. The biggest thing is have the right people with you. um, Identifying the right people, I guess, is the biggest, thing that you can do for your own business,
Hmm.
because people who do not have a common goal, definitely you as an entrepreneur have to see that they're also growing. But if you are making sure that they're growing, that they need to understand that the company has to grow.
Hmm.
So identifying that right talent is really, really important. So I did definitely make a few mistakes, but you learn from that. And with every new mistake, I guess it's a beautiful learning of not repeating it again. So I guess these are the three biggest things I would say I definitely learned in the past, decade.
No, those are great lessons. I want to quickly touch on before I move on to the rapid fire segment. I know a big part of your value proposition is sustainability, ethical, fair trade practices. Can you talk a little bit about, what that means for your business?
So we first of all, I'm a big believer of employing women um, in finishing process, for example. Um, a lot of women are independent, um, working here, let's say. Um, they definitely can take some money back home, help their man in the whole process, and which gives me personally a very good satisfaction that I'm able to, help them in a way where they can progress in life, make their, help their kids teach, well. So I make sure that I provide them with absolutely right wages, actually, even a little above what they would get in some other place.
Hmm.
So second thing is that we're very flexible in terms of timing. If someone is not comfortable coming in at one point of time, then they can join us back, um, or else they can change their timing. If they feel like taking, an off or whatever it is, we are definitely okay with that. Um, so flexibility is the second point that I would say. The third thing is whenever I guess someone needs any help in terms of monetary, value, depending on the kind of um, relationship they have with us, we definitely help them in terms of advances. So I guess in terms of, being ethical, in terms of kind of helping them grow. Otherwise, I can list a lot of things out that are as per, the norms and everything. But I guess the major ethical reasons are that being really, really fair in employing them and giving them whatever that they deserve, what they're working for, so that they feel respected, and they feel that they're heard if they have any problem. So yeah.
That sounds great. I'm going to now move on to our rapid fire segment. In this segment, I'm going to ask you a few quick questions, and if you have to answer them maybe in a word or two or a sentence. The
Mm.
first one is one book recommendation for entrepreneurs and why?
Hmm. Think um, rich dad, poor dad, I guess.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Rich dad, poor dad. I guess it's all about the mindset. It's all about the mindset. It's that attitude that takes one person from this position to that position. Resources don't matter. Um, what you have, what you don't have, what sort of a perspective you come from, what privileges do you have or you don't have. I mean, there have been experiences, there have been so many uh, how should I say, results and these people who've actually utilized and changed their mindset
Hmm.
from this to that and changed how their life, changed completely their life.
Hmm.
So I believe it's the attitude
Hmm.
that makes you from man A to man B.
That's so true. That's so true. Mindset is the beginning of everything for sure. An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you feel excited about.
I guess it's how you have Dell, for example, just-in-time manufacturing. I guess clothing, just-in-time manufacturing is something that is going to be there. I mean, it is already there partially, but just-in-time manufacturing. Imagine that you see something, an idea, or you
Hmm.
create an idea online through different AI tools. The moment you do it, you press enter, and within 2 hours, it gets delivered to you in a physical t-shirt or a
Hmm.
physical jacket, even though it's complicated, but it gets delivered to you. So I guess that is something that I'm really, really excited about because fashion is something that is never going to end. It is just going to keep on evolving.
Hmm.
And the faster you evolve, and especially along with that, I believe smart technology when it comes to integrating nanofibers into the garment itself, that is something that is super exciting because it is going to be a disruptor. It is going to be a complete disruptor for so many things, medical devices, health, everything, clothing, whatever it is going to disrupt a lot of things, a lot of industries.
Very interesting. A business or productivity tool or software that you would recommend, or a productivity tip.
Definitely we do use a lot of these tools. One of them would be, let's say, Trello or Slack, where we do definitely manage all our pipelines, and it helps us to maintain and see and be on the same page in across the organization. So definitely that's one of the tools that we use, and it's lovely. Um, so in terms of tip, you were asking?
No, that's good. I mean, you shared the
Yeah.
tool. It
Yeah,
was it
yeah.
was a
I mean,
two tool or
that's the tool
tool
I
or
would
less.
recommend right now. Yes. Yeah.
No, that's great. Those are great tools for sure. Another startup or business, it could be in e-commerce, retail, or tech that you think is currently doing great things.
Hmm.
Any other business that you feel excited
In terms
about?
of same industry?
It doesn't matter. It could be anything, e-commerce, retail, technology, anything that maybe you use that you really like.
Okay. So interestingly, I believe these rings that you're getting these days, the devices that you wear,
Okay,
um,
yeah.
tap into your health. They are doing amazingly, amazingly well. Something that is really, compact, but at the same time, uh, giving you an amazing detail about your whole health and everything. I guess right along with that, we are actually in the process of working in terms of uh, smart technology in fabrics. And that's why I'm really, really excited about it because that's where the integration happens in terms
Hmm.
of fabric, the product that you're wearing. So imagine like your entire thing that you're wearing is
Hmm.
electronic device. It
Hmm.
is giving you details about your body, about your location, whatever it is to you or to your loved ones, seamlessly. So that is something that really, really excites me. And a lot of companies are actually working on that, but only on the technology, but not on the clothing part as of now. But yes, definitely I can see a lot of people falling in that place.
I think I have seen or heard, and it has been a while, some clothing companies that are using that, especially in the fitness area, I think, to capture
Um,
your data and things
yes,
like this. Yeah.
that is basically with the help of a device that they're integrating, but it's not completely nano yet.
Okay.
Uh, the nano, I mean, a lot of, I guess it's been a while that I heard some company trying it out, or else it was NASA doing it. I can't really recall exactly, but definitely that space is going to open up a new, niche, and I guess it'll become really, really big in the next couple of years.
A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to, or someone who inspires you.
I guess I've always been inspired by two people in my life. Um, Sir Ratan Tata, who is no more, and Steve Jobs. So these two people, I guess, have given me, I guess, a lot of motivation in life. I guess because of their journey,
Hmm,
entrepreneurial journey, like they both come from a very different lives, but amazingly well.
for sure. Final question, and I think you've talked some of this before. Best business advice that you have ever received or you would give to other entrepreneurs.
The best advice I would give is speed is more important than doing things perfectly. I definitely slow down myself because I want to perfect things. Sometimes, they say like too much of analysis leads to paralysis. So I guess that's the only thing I would say. Do not waste time, just get into it. As you'll walk, you'll start to see the path getting clearer. So that's my advice.
That's a great advice, and thank you so much for sharing that. Well, Arpit, those were all the questions that I had. Thank you so much for sharing your time, for sharing your story, some business lessons. And if anybody wants to work with you, get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, you can go on our website. It's www.ngapparels.in. I mean, you can fill in the contact form, or else you can just connect with me on my Instagram or LinkedIn. Both of the handles are at Arpit Aryan Gupta. That's it. That's a single word. So that's where you can just connect and we can take things forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Arpit, again, for your time, for sharing your story, and I wish you and your business all the very best. So thank you
Thank
again.
you very much, Sushant, for giving this opportunity, and wish you really best as well in future.
Thank you.